It's quite evident that gender, race, sexuality, and advertising are all directly linked with one another, which is why through this project we will focus on how these different social aspects interact with each other as well as to analyze the way the advertising world portrays them. Our goal is to better understand how media, and more specifically advertisements, could be shaping and defining socially acceptable attitudes and behaviors.
Indeed, advertisements have become an integral part of our everyday culture. According to William Rutman and Patty Verdi, it is estimated that on average an adult encounters approximately 1,500 advertisements per day. Given that advertisements are designed to create illusions of a desired reality, it should be not surprising that the way females and males are differently portrayed in advertisement may provide valuable insights into individuals' social construction of reality, especially in the way they should look and behave.
Indeed, the idea that sex sells has become a universal theme. This is very explicit in our sets of ads, the first one being from the brand Tom Ford. Tom Ford is an American fashion designer who is most acclaimed for his sex-related advertisements. The campaign we are talking about here is called Tom Ford for Men, the first fragrance for men from Tom Ford. This one in particular was one of their most controversial ads. It features an oil-up, sun-kissed woman with a cologne bottle placed in provocative areas of her body. In addition, the model has red lipstick and nail polish on. The red symbolizes the intensity often associated with love, passion, and confidence. This kind of ad reasserts the vision of women as mere sexual objects at the service of men's desires.
Moving on, we have a very controversial ad from a hair salon company in Canada. After the publishment of this ad, the Canadian hair salon has been attacked for glorifying violence against women. As Jan Reimer, a provincial coordinator with the Alberta Council of Women's Shelters, said, this ad glamorizes domestic violence when in reality the ad is disturbing. In their ad, the model posed as a domestic violence victim to give the idea that the services of the salon could make a beaten woman look beautiful. It reads, "Be beautiful in everything you do." The worst part is that Sarah Cameron, the owner, answered to the critics by saying that they had achieved to make their model the hottest battered woman ever, and that their work should be considered art instead of it being tailored by sensitive people in society.
In terms of being eye-catching, this ad succeeds. These images depict and serve as sexist and gender stereotypical ideals. On one hand, we have the gender stereotypes stemming from the male, the stereotypical look of dominance and confidence, almost like an alpha wolf claiming his territory. He is what a real man should be in the eyes of society, tough, rugged, showing no emotion. And on the flip side, the ad depicts a woman who also possesses a stereotypical woman. First, she is put in a vulnerable position as if she is being down upon the male. There is also a hint of what beauty is or should be in this ad: slender, slim, and in a dress that arguably shows off parts of her body that are sexualized. She checks all the boxes that are necessary to be considered attractive and forming to the ideal look for men. Additionally, both of these ads dehumanize women into objects.
Continuing with this idea of gender inferiority, we have Big ads and products from 2012. Big came out with a new line of pen just for women. The product is available in girly colors, pink and purple, and is supposed to fit a woman's hand. Through this critique, we seek to show the absurdity behind this idea by demonstrating that it's the same pen, only more expensive and in a more feminine color. The very concept of a woman's hand makes no sense and further reinforces gender stereotypes in society, which is a very dangerous message to send to kids, who will be directly exposed to these products. Big didn't stop there. Again, in 2015, Big South Africa posted another controversial ad on its Facebook page to celebrate National Women's Day. The ad shows a smiling woman in a suit with arms folded and reads, "Look like a girl, act like a lady, think like a man, work like a boss," which again offended women by making a pretentious comment on how a man's intellect is immediately superior to the one of a woman and that we should aspire to nothing else than that.
Moreover, the issue of race and ethnicity have also become very important characteristics for advertising and consumer behavior, the Hispanic and Latino culture being one of the advertisers' main targets. Many U.S. corporations borrowed the Latina look and use it in their campaigns, essentializing the Latino experience and promoting stereotypes, especially when it comes to the image of Latina women. The media makes it seem like all Latina women are two extremes, very sexual and sensual, or flying off the handle and cursing in Spanish. It seems that Latinas can only be portrayed in the media in a number of ways, either struggling single moms, overly sexualized, hot-headed firecrackers, or subservient service workers.
The first stereotype we have is the hypersexualization of Latinas. Ever since I was very young, I've been taking in messages from media and members of society that Latina women are meant to be sexy, spicy, curvy, and the list goes on. The main idea I got was that our bodies establish our value. We were no more than a sex symbol for male consumption. A great example of this are Sofia Vergara's ads. In this Burger King commercial, Sofia Vergara is filmed wearing a Burger King uniform, with sexy music playing in the background while she prepares in slow motion an apple and cranberry salad. The ad starts with a man ordering one of Burger King's new salad, but the employees seem confused and clearly don't know what he's talking about. That's when Sofia Vergara appears in the background making the salad the client had just ordered. When she asks who ordered a salad, a huge group of men appear saying me. Her features make the consumers feel like you're trying something different, which is an analogy between the new product and Sofia Vergara as a consumption product.
Another ad where we find this comparison between Latina woman and a product is Tecate, finally a cold Latina. This ad came out for the Cinco de Mayo celebration. However, it had to be taken down by the company after a big group of activists and many members of the Latino community felt outraged by the message the ad sends. It further contributes to one of the many negative and misguided stereotypes about Latinas. In other words, that all Latinas are hot-headed, which subtly promotes racist stereotypes.
Although most of the time Latinas are usually portrayed as really sexy and loud, there are other scenarios where instead they are presented as maids, housewives, or as the crazy and angry Latina. Both the image of the typical Latina that moves to the US, marries an old man, and stays home all day doing nothing can be found in the reality show called Modern Family. In this show, Sofia Vergara's character is from Colombia and she's usually portrayed as crazy, loud, and ignorant, just because she doesn't have an American accent or because she doesn't know all the right words in English. Although these two aren't ads per se, we still think they are perfect examples of the stereotypation undergone by Latina women in media. And lastly, we see that some ads, beyond their sexism, reinforce cultural voyeurism, which is the practice of seeking some kind of gratification by objectifying a culture different from one's own. In this ad, not only is Eva Longoria being put on display in an erotic sense, but also there is a strong invocation of the Mayan culture, which adds an exotic element. In the ad, she says this phrase: the legend has it that the Mayan gods, in their search for superior pleasure, created a chocolate recipe that combined the most sublime flavors, which is clearly a pun since they use the word superior pleasure and sublime flavors with a sexual connotation. But they are not only referring to the chocolate, but also to the sexuality of women's bodies.